is we are doing a diamond giveaway. We are giving away a 1 carat diamond.
A diamond.
There's nothing about that is fake, that is hidden. The T's and C's are literally just live in South Africa and be over a certain age and actually turn the stone into a ring buy diamonds. Outside of that, it's a free diamond. It's insane that we're able to do this.
And it's certified as well. So I know some people are sometimes skeptical about the diamond, where it's coming from, is it sourced ethically, etc. But it's a fully certified diamond, and with the stone you actually get the original printed certification from IGI Labs. So you've got nothing to worry about. I'm not selling you a fake piece of glass, or you're not going to be winning a fake piece of glass. This is an actual diamond.
That's so sick, dude. As soon as you messaged me to be like, hey, we want to do something, we have this idea to give away a diamond, I was like, you have to be joking that this is something that we can actually do, is give away an entire thing. Like, crazy.
Was that also on
drink this? I can put this in there for you if you want.
Maybe a little. I just don't want any caffeine or stuff.
Oh, no, there's no caffeine in this.
Then I'm Gucci,
Yeah, this is like literally how I'm surviving at the moment. Because Jess and I started this, like, I hate to call it a cut. Because I don't want to sound all like, cliched with it. But summer comes around, and summer also happens to be season for acting, and it just happens to be a whole bunch of other stuff. So we're doing, the routine's now been put in place. We need to try and funnel that we're doing. Do you mind if I put my hand on the nozzle? We can just wipe it off for you, I guess.
It's fine, I don't mind, bro.
Maybe a little bit less, so I don't fuck it up. Such a nice flavor. It's like a mango.
So what is this exactly? Is this just normal straight BCA?
Just a BCA. It's a BCA EAA.
Okay.
Oh, dude, I'm so in love with it because we're not doing any sugar at the moment.
Yeah.
So like the other day, it was a Saturday or something, when we came to see you guys, when we came to you for the braai, that 2-liter Coke, that literally in a day, I drank the entire thing, like craving sugar.
But you know how sugar works? It's like when you have it, the next day you want it.
Exactly.
You can feel your body is like, I want it because I had it yesterday.
Yes.
But when you don't have it for like a few days, then you don't mind at all. It's the same with like other unhealthy food. Yeah.
Actually, I should do the podcast this.
Take
Can you
it to
see
the
it?
next level.
What is that?
Just
Cape Town,
everyone's
you can't
gonna
do
be
that.
like, here's like blowing cappuccinos. I look like everyone from Cape Town. Yeah.
Thank you, Meta Labs.
This is how I run my business.
Meta
Just today, I don't know why they did this there.
Thank you, Meta Labs, for sponsoring my addiction.
Thank you, MetaLabs, for making sure that I just stay on track. Yeah. Now the stuff's good, dude.
Ooh, that tastes next level.
Mango iced tea? Bruv, it tastes like home. It tastes like childhood. Dude, we can chat on this stuff forever. Why are we actually here? Welcome back to Storytime. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're here today with someone that's been a friend of mine for, yes, sis, how long? 11 years? Longer.
Yeah, 11, 12 years. No, actually.
Longer.
I'm 27 now, and we met when I was 13, so it's about 14, 15 years.
14 years.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
So we met swimming.
We met swimming.
Initially, yeah.
Yeah, we swam together, we trained together, and then ended up by chance studying together.
There was also a gap, though, where you moved. I think you guys were in Joburg.
Yes.
And I don't even know if you remember this, but I went to go visit my biological dad in Johannesburg. We went to Sun City. And I bumped into you at Sun City in our board shorts, like in the sun. And I was like, what the flip? And you and your family was also there. I don't know if you remember that.
Really?
We were probably, I don't know when you moved. This was probably like when I was 15 or 16, like 2 years after we met, you guys moved. And then I saw you again at Sun City for the first time. We reconnected. I got your number.
Dude, I need lion's mane.
Yeah,
I would be able to recall that if I had it.
No, so that was pretty cool. I remember that was quite a
sick.
super cool moment.
You also sent me.
Yeah.
I have to thank you for this. I give you all the credit. You took me to the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert.
Boom.
Which to this day.
That was next level.
So I'll pop it up on the screen, but that was us. Dude, what a day. Remember there was a dude behind us with a camel pack filled with Jack Daniels?
Yes.
And he kept just trying to like feed us Jack Daniels out of his camel pack.
And I don't know if I can say this on camera, but we were underage at the time as well.
Yeah, we were.
I remember drinking quite a bit of Black Label. I actually showed my wife this morning, showed her the photo. She's like, yo, you two look naughty.
Oh, like, dude, at that time.
Oh, it was crazy.
My word, but it was very little consequence for anything.
I don't know if you can remember like the music and stuff, but I just remember the bass guitarist of Red Hot Chili Peppers, Flea.
Yeah.
He had like this 5 minutes where he was soloing alone on stage, and I was just sitting there with my jaw dropped. I couldn't believe
It was incredible, dude.
Going after it. He made it sound like a one-man band on the bass, because he does like the percussion with, it sounds like drums, but it's also bass, and he plays at the high notes, so then it sounds like multiple instruments. It was just,
it's insane, man.
Crazy.
It was a very, very special concert. Like, I remember the Antwoord opened for them.
Yeah, there was a couple. I think it was the Antwoord, and then wasn't it also Congos or something like that? They were like an indie type band.
But I remember people weren't stoked about the Antwoord.
Yeah, I remember that. Yes.
I remember everyone just clearing out.
I remember.
Not because they're bad anyway, just because it's like rather vulgar.
Yeah.
And this is people that have been like fans of Red Hot Chili Peppers since they were kids.
A lot of older people there.
A lot of older people that are now like, why is there a person on stage screaming swear words at me? Like, I remember that as well, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I actually totally forgot about that, but I recall looking down on the golden circle and how it was just the vibe gone.
Empty. But it's because, and Red Hot Chili Peppers also has the kind of following of like, if you're a Red Hot Chili Pepper fan, you're a Red Hot Chili Pepper fan, dude. So like, good luck to anyone that was going to open for them and try to maintain that level of, those amount of eyes. But yeah, that now took us to where we are now, in which the reason we're doing the episode is we are doing a diamond giveaway. We are giving away a 1 carat diamond.
A diamond.
There's nothing about that is fake, that is hidden. The T's and C's are literally just live in South Africa and be over a certain age and actually turn the stone into a ring buy diamonds. Outside of that, it's a free diamond. It's insane that we're able to do this.
And it's certified as well. So I know some people are sometimes skeptical about the diamond, where it's coming from, is it sourced ethically, etc. But it's a fully certified diamond, and with the stone you actually get the original printed certification from IGI Labs. So you've got nothing to worry about. I'm not selling you a fake piece of glass, or you're not going to be winning a fake piece of glass. This is an actual diamond.
That's so sick, dude. As soon as you messaged me to be like, hey, we want to do something, we have this idea to give away a diamond, I was like, you have to be joking that this is something that we can actually do, is give away an entire thing. Like, crazy. So we've been on that, and because of the giveaway, because this is something we're doing, we figured a lot of people have been DMing asking questions about the diamond in a way that like is really hard for me to answer, because I'm not a specialist in the field like you are. So people are asking about like clarity and cut and color, and I'm just like, I don't know, it's super shiny. I don't really know what to tell you. So I wrote down a bunch of different questions into diamonds. What are frequently asked questions around diamonds? How are they sourced? How do you determine the value when it comes to shape and clarity and color, and the difference between lab and ground grown, if I can call it that, diamonds?
There's different words for it.
There we go.
Natural diamonds or mined diamonds are the two most commonly used words.
There we go.
It's not lab grown.
Okay.
But we can definitely get into all that.
A lot of that as well.
Super fascinating.
Before we go into answering people's questions, let's tell people about Buy Diamonds. How did Buy Diamonds come to be? It's obviously your company. You specialize in it. You run it. You own it. And you obviously have years experience working within marketing field within diamond companies. You travel a lot between South Africa and America, specializing in this exact thing. How did it come to be that you were like, we're going to start Buy Diamonds and start creating incredible pieces of jewelry?
Yeah, so it's actually a really good question. I mean, I've always been very passionate about business and entrepreneurship. Like, I mean, we studied marketing, so it's a massive part of it, right? And I've been working in the business to business space specifically when it comes to diamonds. So I've been in the industry for a while, but never really had my own thing going. And the thought and the idea of having something that's my own in the space and retail, for example, it's maybe a thought that I had in the back of my mind, but never really had enough to like push me over the edge to start pursuing it. And it's something that me and my wife have chatted about. Like, we work very well together when it comes to business ventures and things like that. And, it's just been a thought, but like I said, never really had anything to push us over the edge. And then there was a day that just came, and a family member of mine gave me a call, and she said, Ben, I know you work in the industry. I've got someone that is a very close family friend. He's wanting to get engaged. Can you help him out with an engagement ring?
Sick.
At that stage, I was like, no, I can't. This is not what I do. But I can at least have a call with him, consult with him, because I have some knowledge on the industry, what to look out for, what not to look out for, because, a lot of retailers will actually take you for a bit of a chop, and they will add these incredible markups because they obviously have a lot more bills to pay with massive stores and marketing and this and that. So there's a lot that they put into it, obviously, as well. But I just thought, okay, cool, I can give him my advice, my 2 cents, so that for someone that doesn't know anything about diamonds, at least we'll have a little bit of ground to stand on when he has a meeting maybe with another jeweler. So I had the consultation with them, and after the consultation, I just got excited. So I was like, flip, maybe there is some opportunity.
That was fun. Yeah.
And literally, he started asking quotes at like other places, and within 2-3 days, formulated like this idea with my wife. Got a great recommendation for a local jeweler who's also a close friend of a friend. Had a meeting with her, and basically she agreed to our vision to be, our bench jeweler, essentially, who would create the jewelry pieces. So we would basically be able to source all the diamond, the materials, whatever would be needed. She would create it. And that basically fell into place within literally 2 or 3 days. So I called the guy back and I said, listen, plans have changed. You can send me the quotes that you've gotten. I can probably beat it. And then from there, we basically locked it in, did our first engagement ring, and it came out freaking amazing. They've been engaged now, and it's been absolutely bliss to be a part of that, that love story. It's super special. And that's kind of how it got started. And what's great as well is it is a process. And every step of the process of creating jewelry or a ring or whatever the case might be, there's opportunity for you to take photos and things like that. So when you do the design, you can take a few photos. When you get the stone, you can take some photos and videos. When you have the ring made, there's a few photos. So as we were doing the first ring, we created our Instagram page and started releasing content and in between some educational stuff. So we were literally bootstrapping it from the ground up with no like initial capital investment, anything like that, literally from the ground up, and just started going from there. And now obviously we've done a few engagement rings, we've done some earrings and a few other pieces of jewelry, and we've just basically been building it from the ground up. And it's quite phenomenal to see the response that we've been getting. People have been so stoked, and we really believe in quality, and we want to give people the best value for the best price. Like that's honestly why we are here. And we just love people, and it's so cool to be a part of everyone's love story and whatever the case might be. So that's kind of how we got started.
It's sick to see how like you guys have such an enthusiasm for such a special moment in life, and how for a lot of friends of mine and stories that I've heard, it's quite a scary time, because you're like, all this money is going to get spent. There's always the question of the yes and no. There's always the question of, did I get it right? Will she like it? Is it big enough? Is it expensive enough? Is it flashy enough, but also subtle enough? Like there's so many questions around this time of like, don't mess it up. And to, on top of that, add the added stress of it's going to cost you this much because there's this much markup and this much on top of it and this much off the back. Like it's a really stressful time. So what I wanted to ask you is, if someone comes to you wanting to get engaged, what is the process? Because we've done it. Technically, you ran me through the process on WhatsApp of like, what is the process? Someone comes to you like, I want to get engaged. I need a stone. I want to design a ring. How do you run that process?
I typically like to start with the budget. I know a lot of people think, oh, that's because you want to push a sale or see how much money you can get out of the client. It's really not for that. Starting with the design, I feel, is the wrong way around. Because if you come to me and you say, I want this ring, it must look like this, these are the specifications, blah, blah, blah. Then I go back and I do a lot of, work in the background to come back with maybe a design or the quote, etc., and find out what everything is going to have to look like. And then you tell me, oh, sorry, but my budget can't do that. So then there's a lot of initial work done from your side and my side to try and make something happen for you, but then it doesn't work with the budget. So I prefer starting with the budget in mind, because once we have the budget, there's a lot of other variables that we can put into play to accommodate and to try and refine the piece of jewelry to actually fit that budget.
Okay.
So if you come to me and you say you've got X amount of money, that's great. Then I know, okay, these are the margins and the ranges that we can work with for example, the diamond. or the type of metal that we're going to be using, and also just the design. I mean, some people want really big rings, but like the gold, but they don't necessarily have too much money. There are techniques that we can hollow some of it out so that it still appears to be bigger, but it's not too solid where it's going to be heavier and actually break the bank. So there's a lot of, intricacies to it, but starting with the budget is definitely point number one. Let's determine the budget. From there, okay, cool. Do you have ideas? So a lot of people, especially the girls, they've got amazing Pinterest boards.
Yeah.
They've been collecting boyfriends. I'm telling you, go check your girlfriend's Pinterest boards. There's probably a board there somewhere with engagement rings already. You won't have to look too hard. And then you can just go onto the Pinterest boards, or save this, Pinterest is amazing for that. Instagram, just save as many photos as you can of various designs that you like and kind of get an idea. Then you come to us with that idea. We'll chat about it and see what is realistic for the budget, but also for the purpose. Sometimes you think what you see online is going to be great. For example, there has been a big trend where people want these massive stones, but they want really thin bands. You've probably seen it. Like a lot of people, especially on Pinterest, the girls like these very thin bands, but they want the big stone. But then obviously it's going to be a bit top heavy, and that could cause damage, right? Yeah. So you have to balance it out, the stone and the metal thickness, etc. So there's all those type of things that we can then chat about. And then once you're happy with the thought formulation, what we then do is we create a CAD design, which stands for computer aided design. So you will get a 3D one-to-one replica virtually on the computer. We'll send it to you what the jewelry piece is going to look like. Damn. So that you can give us the A-OK before we actually put it into production. So once you're happy with the design, great. So for example, take this competition now. We've got an oval diamond. So we'll then take the shape of the oval diamond, set it in the metal that you prefer and the style that you want. Once you're happy with that, we can then source the diamond. In that time, the jeweler can already actually start to create it. They just leave the space for the diamond. Okay. And then once the diamond arrives, they set it, they do the final mounting, make sure everything is nice and clean and polished, all that. And then essentially your ring is done. You can obviously have a check, and then if anything you'd want to change, or maybe it needs to be resized, whatever the case might be, we can do that. But more often than not, all of those type of things are ironed out in the initial phase with the design. Yeah.
On you saying resizing, big topics of people being like, how do you get the size right? How does that process work of, I think it should be this big, so I get it made that big and it doesn't fit. It's either too small or too big. Now what? Yeah, so if you don't know at all, then you're going to have to guess. Jewelers are sometimes very good at looking at photos and even guessing. So I've had a client come to me and send me a photo of his girlfriend with his girlfriend's hand like here. And then we were kind of able to gauge very closely to what it was. So there is that, but that is kind of last resort, right? So ideally what you want to do is, depending on your relationship with her, or the person you're creating the ring for, you can straight up ask them. You can find maybe another ring that they like to wear often. So if they like jewelry, maybe they've got a ring in their room that you can put on, take to the jeweler. Steal it. Yeah.
Alternatively, family members are also great to ask. They can even, if they still stay with their family, maybe while he or she is sleeping, take a piece of rope very gently around the ring finger, and then you can actually get the measurement like that. Sure. So that's a little trick that you can do.
That's super stealth mode.
Yeah, very stealth mode. Obviously, if they wake up, I don't know what you're going to say.
You're going to be standing with a piece of string. Like, well, guess we're going to take the whole finger. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's that, which you can do. But ideally, that would probably be my top recommendation.
Okay. Jeez, because that's like, looking at all my friends that have gotten engaged and are now married, that was a big one for them. Was like, I don't want to get this wrong. And then you end up giving them a ring that's too big and it can fall off, or too small and they can't wear it.
I'd rather have it a bit too big than too small. Yeah. Because on the engagement day, if it doesn't fit on the finger,
how are you going to get the photo?
Exactly. Yeah. If it's a bit too big, they can kind of still clench it like this and all of that. That's fine. And then you can just go back to the jeweler afterwards and get it resized to the exact shape.
How does the resizing actually work? How do they resize the ring?
Yeah, so it's similar to the way that they actually create the ring. So they would obviously have to heat up the metal again and kind of mold it to a smaller size. And similarly to the size, the engravement is often another topic. So oftentimes when people get engaged, they want, no, the sizing is different to the engravement, but it works similarly in the sense of oftentimes people want engravement on the inside.
Yes.
So maybe you're getting engaged on the 1st of December. Now you want the date there, maybe a Bible verse or your significant other's initials, whatever the case might be. And then what people
Life
do
forever.
is, they get the engravement, but then the fiance is maybe not too stoked. They wanted something else. So with the engravement, we sometimes recommend get engaged first, and then you can actually ask the significant other, what do you want engraved?
Very good advice.
And then it's a collaborative thing, and it's more fun.
That's cute. I like that about it.
Yeah, exactly. Same with the wedding band. You can get them involved afterwards. Yeah.
Have you had a client have their partner say no? Like how often does that happen?
I have no idea. That has not happened to me or to anyone that I know. I've seen it on YouTube and Instagram. It's quite cringe when it does.
It breaks my heart.
It does break my heart. I almost feel like, on the one hand, I feel like, shit, maybe she should have just said yes and then later tell him it's not going to work. Like, just to not ruin
find
the
a better
moment.
time. Yeah.
But then on the other hand, like, I actually honor the fact that she's being super true and honest.
Dude.
But I can't even imagine what that must feel like. I've got no clue. Like,
I've seen so many videos where the dude gets down, proposes, and the girl or the lady will go, no.
Yes. Oh,
No.
No.
And you're like, what kind of no is that? You know, like, no. And then it's yes after. But I'm like, dude, that panic and nerve of like waiting for the yes. Like,
is this a yes? Or
so excited.
I've actually, someone that I know was in exactly that boat. It was also like, no. And then it's like, okay, wait, how are you actually responding? Just say the actual response now.
Exactly. Are you melting down at the weight of the situation, or like, are you actually trying to say no?
Yeah.
I researched into, just to try be as ready as possible.
It's so funny.
But I researched into diamonds. I wrote down some like crazy stories about diamonds, and then I wrote down the Hope Diamond Mystery and Curse. I don't know if you've ever read up on that. I'm going to show you that because I found a dope article on it. But I found a very brief article that was speaking on the 4 C's of diamonds. Do you know the 4 C's? What are they? And let's kind of speak into each. Because as I understand, the 4 C's of diamonds are the 4 things to look at when making your selection of a gem.
100%.
Yeah.
So first of all, you get the 4 C's. There are a lot of other parameters as well that you can look at.
Okay.
But typically those are the 4 main ones that are going to have the biggest impact on the diamond's brilliance, like how much it's actually shining. Is there some fire to it? Is it going to be a bit more dull? The size, the color, etc. So we'll get into that now. But there are a few other variables that also actually matter. But we tend to see some people go super overboard and they go study everything so granularly to the point where it's not really needed.
Okay.
A lot of those metrics are actually things that the jeweler needs to worry about. So the actual end consumer and the person that's getting engaged, if you can just read up a little bit on the 4 C's, that will be like more than enough actually for you to go on to be at least make an informed decision when
selecting
the diamond to getting engaged. We actually have some information on that on our Instagram, on our website as well. And it's so fascinating. Like when I initially did some research, I was like, wow, I did actually not know that this is what, I just thought it's like how big it is.
Yeah.
Most people are like, oh, the diamond, how big is it and what's the shape, right? So the first C would be cut. So that's typically how well the diamond is actually cut. So cut can, in certain occasions, people do refer to the cut as the shape as well, but the shape is actually something different.
Okay. So cut refers to the quality of the actual cutting, right?
Exactly. So you can see it as like, say for example, to give you another example, like a carpenter.
Yeah.
Are they making like a very random square table, or are they going Michelangelo on this thing and very fine detail?
Okay.
So you get the cut, you get like ideal cut, excellent cut. There's different variations, but essentially the cut would determine how nice it reflects light and how brilliant the stone is.
Okay.
So the cut makes a big difference, especially in round diamonds. So round diamonds are pretty much the standard universal shape.
Yes.
Right? Any other shape they typically call fancy shapes. So that's cuts and shapes. And then the second C would be color. Now, the color is also interesting because there used to be metrics in the past where they used the alphabet. So it started with A, and then it went on to, I think, even Z. But now these days they moved away from that. Now it starts at D. Okay, so the main colors that you get is from D to K. D would be colorless. So it's 100% colorless. The diamond is as, I would say, clean as it gets, so as white as it gets. So obviously it's basically translucent. It's not white, but we say white. And then when you go down the spectrum, it becomes more yellow. Okay. In essence. But even if you fall somewhere in the middle, so you go D, E, F, J, H, I, whatever the case might be, some of those are like, it doesn't get yellow like your cap or whatever. It's just slightly less white. But when you get to K and onwards, there is actually a little bit of yellow that you can definitely see. Now, because D is seen as colorless, that would be your most expensive option, right? The same with the cut. If you get your ideal cut, that would be more costly than something that is not ideal. When it comes to color, when you go from D to K, it typically does get more affordable. So this is also where budget comes in, right? So if you want, for example, a natural diamond, but you only have, 50,000 Rand to spend, we're probably not going to go for a D, because that can go up to, 2-3 million, depending on the carat, etc. So that would determine those type of things. But people also have the misconception where they want to go for the best. They want the color D or E. They don't want anything lower than that. But you'd be surprised to see what you can actually get for something that's a lower color clarity grade. And then from there, you've got your carat, which is to do with the actual size of the diamond.
Yeah.
Now, there's a few cool variables here. So at the moment for the giveaway, we're giving away a 1 carat diamond.
Yes.
Okay. So a lot of engagement rings even start at 0.4, 0.5 carats. So like half a carat, basically.
Okay.
And I mean, you get diamonds that start at 100th of a carat, but those are typically, the small bling that you have around the diamond or on the chains where people have those iced out chains. So then you can have the very small diamond. So that's the carat in essence.
Okay.
Now, with that, there's some variables as well. Do you want a bigger diamond, or is it more important for you to have a diamond that looks a bit nicer, has a bit more fire and brilliance? So a lot of people, they don't really care about how brilliant the diamond is. They just want a big diamond. So then you can go for something that's maybe a H or an I or a J, but then you can have a 2 or 3 carat diamond. Or if it's not so important for you to have a bigger diamond, you can maybe go for a half a carat diamond, but then you have your color D and, something that is cut very well, etc. So there's all of those type of variables that come into play.
That was going to be my question, is like, in your opinion, knowing the intricacies of a diamond, which becomes more important, which I guess it's down to taste and preference of like, do you get a giant, or do you go for like a big stone where the clarity and color are slightly off of whatever we would say D is, or do you go smaller and then it's the quality, I guess, of that stone is higher?
Yeah, good question. I mean, it's budget, it's preference, it's honestly your style as well. There have been instances that I've heard of where people want to go all out. They buy a massive stone, maybe even 4 or 5 carats, but then the wife is too embarrassed to wear it in public, or it's not, they don't want to be big and flashy. Yeah. So it is something to consider. Some people want that. I've worked or met people in the States, in Florida especially, they call it the yacht rings. They've got these massive rings. Stones. They call it yacht rings. So it's these ladies that are living, on the yachts, and this is their life. They want the biggest and the flashiest. So then they've got these ginormous things, but in South Africa, it would be fairly dangerous to wear a diamond.
1,000%.
People could see that from a mile away. So there's a lot of variables. Safety could even be a variable depending on, where in the world
on where you live.
Exactly.
Yacht? What is it? Yacht?
A yacht ring.
A yacht ring.
Yeah. It's
That's
almost
that's what all the girls that leave Cape Town to go,
Yeah,
meet a fancy sheikh in
There we
Dubai.
go.
That's what they're aiming at.
they want a
Yeah.
yacht ring.
They want a yacht ring.
Exactly. So that determines the price as well. So it's the cut, the color, the carat, and then the last one being the clarity. So you have to remember a diamond, especially a natural or mined diamond, it comes out of the earth. So just as with any other mineral that you get under the earth, some of them might be slightly damaged. We call that in a diamond like an inclusion. So it's almost like you get these lines that are in the diamond. It almost looks like a little bit of a crack or a blemish, something like that. Or it could make the diamond slightly more dull. So if you, for example, had to chop out a diamond this big out of the ground, where you can now start cutting it into smaller diamonds, etc., then you would have to sort first, between the color and the clarity, etc. So that has a big factor. As well.
So certain parts of the greater stone would be more clear than the other side.
Or certain regions. I mean, if you're mining from a big mine, maybe there's a pocket somewhere where it's like, okay, this is very good grade, diamonds, and then others might be a bit lower clarity, which also has an impact on the final price. So for me, I mean, these days, in the past, I was always like, biggest rock is the best. But these days, I mean, I've seen stones, even when they're a bit smaller, if they have good clarity, the color doesn't even always matter as much. But if they have good clarity and they are brilliant, it even looks bigger, like it just pops. You can even see some of the photos we've posted on Instagram next to my wife's hand. It's almost like the stone looks like it's illuminated.
Oh, dude, the one we're giving away.
It literally looks like it's illuminated.
Beautiful.
That's because, yes, the color is great, but it's the clarity that's making it like pop like that. So I'm a big fan of clarity. For other people, it's not necessarily such a big factor. But yeah.
What is the metric to measure clarity?
So basically it also works on a scale. So just like color goes from D to K. Basically with clarity, what you get is it starts with IF, which is internally flawless. So it's flawless, basically.
Dude, that sounds gangster.
Yeah.
Imagine that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Imagine someone comes in there like you IF,
you
internally flawless. I feel that's how you compliment me nowadays. For my next birthday, I want that written in my birthday card. Josh, you are internally flawless.
We should have it like
not true, but I'll take it. Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine a diamond meme page, and then it's just like you're internally flawless.
You're internally flawless, yeah. I'd take that.
Yeah.
By the way, do I still have powder on my face?
No.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, it just came to mind now. It's BCAs for those that didn't watch the intro of the show.
It went.
Yeah. I realized that the joke is now lasting an hour and people might not be watching the whole hour. Yeah. They'd be like, this guy's cooked. Sorry, you were saying.
No, not a problem.
IF.
So you get IF, and then you go from very, very slightly included, which is VVS. You get VVS 1 and 2, and then after that you get VS 1 and 2, and then you get SI, which is slightly included, and then you get I, which is included. So it goes from VVS to VS to SI to I, and then so it's also like a bit of a spectrum.
A bit of a spectrum on that.
But you don't. But again, you don't have to go for IF. You don't have to go for VVS 1. If it doesn't fit your budget, you can still get an amazing stone that lands at VS2 or even SI1. You can get some really, really great stones out there. Yeah.
I wrote down, on you saying this, because this is going to lead to a great question. I wrote down diamonds from throughout the years that have been known throughout history to be incredible. So there was the Hope diamond that was 45 carats or whatever. The Cullinan diamond that when found was 3,106 carats, and they turned it into 105 different diamonds. Then the
It's crazy.
Koh-i-Noor, I hope I said that correctly, is a 105 carat diamond worth $400 million.
It's ridiculous.
That was actually stolen, taken by the British during a war, which there's a whole lot of controversy behind that. And then the Taylor Burton diamond, 240 carat rough, was found in South Africa and then bought by the fiance of Elizabeth Taylor.
Wow.
Gave it to Elizabeth Taylor. They then got divorced, and whoops.
Yeah.
whoopsie daisies, and sold it for $3 million when they divorced. With these diamonds, these giant historical diamonds, what about it makes it historical? So like, if I look at the 4 C's, what was like the Hope diamond, for example, is it like a perfectly clear, perfectly white and giant diamond, or is it purely just the size of the diamond that everyone goes, wow, this is incredible?
I think for those ones that you mentioned, the main thing would be the size. Like, I do doubt that those would be very low grade color, low grade clarity. I'm certain they are still stunning. I haven't seen all of them, but what I can definitely say is, if you, like I mentioned, if you have the diamond rock and it's rough, you still have to actually cut it. So you do tend to lose some of the actual size. So to get it to the perfect cut and it's still being at that size is quite an extraordinary feat. Also, where diamonds are mined and scattered, they don't necessarily come out in chunks that are like massive. It's not going to be like a boulder. So to get it cut to where it looks like a dolled with, all the different facets and all the different angles, and to get it as sharp as it is while still being that size is truly extraordinary.
It's weird how we praise the diamond and not the person that cut it and ultimately made it what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know of the Cullinan diamond. I don't know who cut it. I don't know who,
It's actually interesting. So there's a lot of mines throughout the world. Ironically enough, so many of the diamonds are mined either South Africa, there's even diamond mines in Zambia, etc., Botswana. But the majority of the diamonds are actually then like exported and cut elsewhere. So a lot of the diamond manufacturers and cutters are sitting in places like India and Hong Kong, and then from there it gets sent back to maybe the US or Europe, etc. So a lot of it is going to places like India. It's a lot in some other countries as well, but you'd be surprised. And it works the same with the gold. We mine the gold here, and then it gets exported and refined maybe in places like Dubai, etc., and then a lot of times imported back. It's very interesting.
And then we've got to pay the fee on bringing that thing back in again.
Imports, duties and customs and all of that.
That's infuriating, yeah. I mean, we do need to make money somehow, right?
100%.
Yeah. I'll find us the article on the curse of the, I think it was Curse of the Hope.
Yeah, I think that's what you mentioned.
Dude, it was originally taken out of a statue in India during a war, whatever at the time. They stole it out of a statue. And that since that, it's had this terrible history of everyone that's had it has either died in the craziest way, crazy. I'll find this article, but I wanted to go into getting your opinion on something that has fascinated me for a long time. Did you see the ring that Kanye bought Kim Kardashian?
Yes, I did see a photo of that. Yeah. That's wild.
What was your, random question here, what was your take on that ring? Because the whole world were up in arms about the size of it. Was the clarity and color and everything of that stone as incredible as the size? Is that why everyone was like, holy shit, it's that expensive?
Yeah, definitely. I think that has a major role to it. I'm certain the actual designer also plays a massive role. So that's another very interesting topic. So that, even in movies and stuff, there are these world-class jewelers and designers that purely make high-end jewelry for actors and for musicians, etc. And those would obviously come at a much larger price point. I mean, I don't know if it was the Oscars or something, but I saw some other actor last year win an award, and he was wearing a diamond thing around here. It was literally just a bunch of diamonds, and it was also over 50 carats worth of chunks. So when I see rings the ring you just mentioned, it really is impressive. I mean, it's super phenomenal. And to get a diamond of that size, I can't even imagine. Can't remember what the cost is, but
I can tell you what it is.
Must have been extraordinary. It really is something impressive. I do think it's impractical to walk around with something like
massively.
That's, imagine you hit it against something. I mean, a diamond is very solid, but the gold, could actually damage.
Dude, on you mentioning designers, Kanye West proposed to Kim Kardashian with this giant engagement ring by Lorraine Schwartz. The diamond alone is 15 carats and costs between $2 million and $4 million.
Yeah. Honestly,
Then another
big,
one says 8 million. So
but that doesn't even sound that extravagant. Like I've heard of people that go even more overboard with like
really
50 carats diamonds. It's things like that. It's just ridiculous. But then sometimes it would be a bit of a lower color.
dude, it's literally
That's
like
a rock.
it's so
that
big
looks
that
like
it looks fake.
100%. Yeah, and that looks like a emerald or a cushion cut. But yeah, it's wild. That is massive.
I'm not gonna lie. If someone was wearing that and walked past me, I'd be like, I got like a 50-50 chance that I could run away with that thing
Yeah,
and pull it off.
100%.
Surely everyone would be thinking like, that's like what, 10, 8, 9 million dollars sitting on someone's hand.
No, it's crazy. I mean, you could
insane.
leave your family a massive inheritance with that ring.
Right?
Alone, especially in South Africa, if you convert it to rand. It's crazy. No, 100%.
We find you that article on this thing.
If you had to see someone wear that ring in South Africa, my first thought would be, that's not a real diamond.
Well, that's
know
what
what I
I
mean?
think when I see it.
I would think that's probably a moissanite or, I don't know,
What's a moissanite?
cubic zirconia. So obviously people like to go for diamonds because it's a diamond. It has the legacy and all that. But a lot of people, for budget's sake, tend to opt in for moissanite. And initially, moissanite was actually discovered by a meteor that landed in like Arizona, or I think it was Arizona in the US. I think it was the late 1890, somewhere there. And then it made a massive crater, and then they found these like shards of the crystal. And then they saw it was like ridiculously brilliant, and then they created moissanite from that. But commercially today, if you buy jewelry with moissanite in it is lab-grown moissanite. They don't use from the actual meteor. They use lab-grown moissanite. The difference would be it's a lot cheaper than a diamond. It's not as hard as a diamond. It's still quite hard, but a diamond is a lot harder. So if you look at the hardness scale, or they call it the Mohs hardness scale, a diamond is a 10. So it's the hardest material you can find on this earth.
Jeez, like it's also the only gem made up of one mineral.
It's pure carbon.
I had no idea that a
carbon.
diamond was one mineral.
It's
So I'm interrupting
So
you,
it's
but it's
pure
fascinating.
carbon, which is exactly.
Yeah.
So technically, it would be able to chip easier. And then also, besides that, not just the hardness, it is sometimes a bit more brilliant than a diamond, just for the way that it looks and all of that. But it's not just carbon. There's something called, I think it's silica that's in it, which is almost like silica, and that I think that actually brings down the hardness of
That makes sense. Yeah.
But now you have to factor in other things. So cool, you might be spending a lot less on a moissanite because you want to save a bit of money. But long-term, moissanites have just become cheaper. And, if you are buying jewelry for legacy and passing it on generationally, it's probably better to save up for longer and just buy an actual diamond because it will retain value a lot better than a moissanite. I mean, moissanite might not be the worst option, but we try and steer away from it because long-term a diamond will always be a diamond. You're not going to get around the legacy and the history of a diamond.
As much as it is like, diamond having the name it has, and diamonds are a girl's best friend, and all the other
diamonds are forever.
There you go, all the marketing tactics that we've heard behind like the diamond, all these rappers and musicians and athletes and everything that have these giant iced out chains.
Yeah.
Surely that could just be moissanite and you'd have no idea.
Yeah, I was in America a month or two ago at a jewelry trade show, and there were these massive iced out chains that were done with moissanite.
Really?
Yeah, you even get ones that are done with cubic zirconia, which is even lesser. It's almost like a glass type material. Still looks shiny and all that, but it's not worth much at all. So people do tend to go for that. Obviously, you do get your real rappers that are buying the proper,
for sure,
the proper goods with like the solid gold.
Yeah.
But there are definitely people out there that are buying, I don't know, stainless steel
just to kind of prove a point.
Exactly. Yeah, trying to look
funny.
Yeah.
What about a white sapphire?
A white sapphire. So sapphire is obviously a different type of gem. You get different colors of sapphire. So you get blue, red, etc. I mean, you can actually find on the internet, there's a whole, I've never seen a...
Like
blue sapphire.
Sapphire diamonds,
Yeah.
they're a lot cheaper than diamonds, but still.
Right. Yes, they're not as hard as well, so sometimes that would be able to maybe get a scratch on a bit easier. What's quite my favorite sapphire, they call it a peacock sapphire or teal sapphire. Very nice. That is stunning. I don't know if you've seen that, but you can just imagine like peacock colors.
That's dope.
So it's almost like that. So it's got these little, it's almost like green, bluish, teal colored sapphire. That is my favorite. Like
That's sick.
yeah, it's very nice. So if you want to buy a sapphire,
Like, yeah, and how does that compare in terms of pricing?
it's a lot cheaper than a diamond. Yeah, I mean, you get ones that are very expensive as well, but compared to a diamond, you would pay a lot less.
Rare?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, diamonds are most likely your priciest gem that
Yeah.
you're buying. Yeah.
I want to read you this article on the Hope Diamonds Mystery and Curse, and then to close off, we'll go into the difference and explanations of lab-grown and natural,
100%.
the difference between the two, to just wrap it up. But I thought this was interesting, so everyone can have a bit of a history lesson here. The way that it's established is, they say, since its discovery in India in 1642, the infamous diamond was stolen at least twice in its long history and has changed hands several times, leaving a trail of unfortunate fate and supposedly bad luck for almost every owner. These are some of the stories, legends, and victims of the mysterious Hope diamond. So, firstly, in 1666, Jean Baptista Tavernier, whoever that is, stole it. It says he traded gems and allegedly stole the 115 carat blue diamond, which, crazy that you get a blue one.
Yeah, you get a lot of different colors.
It's like an avatar
Fancy
diamond.
colors,
Sick.
100%. Yeah.
He stole it out of a Hindu statue where it was serving as just one of the two eyes. Upon discovering it was missing, the priests put a curse on whoever was in possession of the gem. It is said that this dude came down with a raging fever soon after stealing the diamond and soon passed away.
That's crazy.
Then it went to King Louis in 1668, who got gangrene and passed away just after getting possession of the stone. Then late in the 1600s went to another dude, Nicolas Fouquet. Lots of French dudes who also got sick and also pegged. Then went to Louis and Marie. Oh, Marie Antoinette.
Yes,
then went to her.
That's famous, yeah.
Yes. And
She's also in France.
yeah, they were guillotined during France's turbulent political era, and his wife met the same fate 9 months later after having the stone. Then went to someone else, also died soon after wearing it for the first time. Then to someone else, got ill, died when his son allegedly stole the diamond, murdered his father, and then took his own life as well. Then went to the next guy, now we're at the 1900s already, went to the next dude, Pierre Cartier. He drove his car off a cliff.
Wow.
Sketchy.
Does it say if that is the same Cartier that is...
It says
with the
Simon
brand or not Cartier?
Moancharidis was a Greek merchant who owned the diamond and resold it in 1910 to Pierre Cartier.
I wonder if that's the same
He drove
guy
his
that
car off a cliff.
started the brand Cartier.
That would be dope if it is.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Then went to... Her ill fate began when her mother-in-law died and her son died at the age of 9. Her husband left her for another woman and later died in a psychiatric hospital. Her daughter then also died of a drug overdose. She died owing huge debts. The surviving children sold the diamond to a famous jeweler. Dude, this, and like...
But like, what I want to know is, if it has such a long history of people just pegging when they get the diamond,
Yeah.
why on earth would you come close to it?
That's my thing, right?
Why would you buy
Greed,
it?
dude.
Yeah.
How insane. Like 1958, which is the most recent death until the person that has it now. Whilst no harm seemed to come to the famous jeweler, his name's James Todd, the mailman who delivered the diamond to the Smithsonian apparently had an accident in a truck and accidentally then shortly died thereafter. He also suffered a head injury in a separate accident. To add to his list of bad luck, his house was burned down.
No.
So, like, surely there's just a group of people being like, whoever has that stone, get rid of him. Like, dude drove off a cliff. Then someone died of a fever. Then your house gets burned down. Like, these are all things that people could be doing to you. It's now valued at $250 million. and is housed in the National Gem and Mineral Collection at the National Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C.
Wow. You would think that it's valued the opposite. It's like you're in debt.
Right? Exactly, yeah.
That is not
the museum's like, I don't know if we want this
yeah.
one, but
That's crazy.
how crazy. Got stolen out of a statue in India all in the, 1600s. And since then, every single person that has had it in their possession has died shortly after getting it.
No, that is crazy. I mean, talk about not learning from other people's mistakes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like history repeats itself, yes, again and again and again and again. No one's learning, dude. Everyone's like, I'll go next, you know?
Yeah, I want the shiny object.
Exactly. I want the shiny blue object.
There we go.
Now we know, don't touch Hindu statues.
Not gonna...
On that one, we're going to the last topic of the difference between lab-grown and naturally grown, if we can call it that. Reason this is such an interesting topic for me is because a lot of people have opinion one way or the other. There's the ethical opinion of rather going lab grown, but there's also the opinion of if it's lab grown, it doesn't hold up as much to a natural. That's just the opinions that I've read researching into today's podcast. What's your take on the two and how would you explain it?
So there's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of controversy going around on the internet. To make one thing clear, a lab-grown diamond and a natural diamond are both a diamond. They're 100% identical. They're both pure carbon. If you had to look at both of them under a microscope, you would not be able to tell a difference.
Okay.
So on a scientific level, they are 100% identical. Now, the value obviously differs, and that is where, you know, people make the decision based on their budget and availability, etc. Again, like we said, some people want something that has a better color and clarity, but they don't have the price to pay for that equivalent of a natural. They might opt in for a lab-grown, still a diamond. The main difference, honestly, is the fact that a lab-grown diamond you can manufacture in a lab within a couple of weeks. It takes about 3 weeks to manufacture.
That quickly, eh?
That quickly. So they can make lab-grown diamonds much quicker. A natural diamond takes about 1 to 3.5 billion years to get produced. So it's out of the earth, it's out of the earth's core. It takes so long to actually, you know, grow and develop naturally.
Yeah.
And then obviously from there, people mine it. Now, the ethical thing that you mentioned, a lot of people are opting in for lab grown because, as you can imagine, if you have a mine that is mining diamonds, it's basically wrecking that entire area. Because they have to go in the ground. There's a lot of noise, pollution. Everything that is going in and around that mine is absolutely kind of just destroying that piece of ground, so to speak, to get out the diamond. But for that reasons, for how old it is and just the amount of like manpower and machinery
that it takes to actually get
it out,
yeah.
That is also, and the scarcity. I mean, if there's only diamonds being produced every billion years, it's gonna, you know, it's very limited in its quantity. So the fact that it's limited and can't be produced every 3 weeks makes the rarity factor so much more appealing, and people have this, you know, they have this gravitational pull to things that are that old, and you know, it just blows your mind to think that you're holding something that is 1 billion years old. So for that reason, a lot of people like to gravitate towards natural diamonds, and they feel like that's where the value is. But the lab grown is booming. It's like around the world, it is absolutely just, it's a massive market, and the price is a lot less than what a natural diamond is. So if you're looking to getting engaged, for example, when I got engaged, I didn't even know about lab grown diamonds, and I didn't have that much money. So I opted in for an aquamarine stone, which is another gemstone, which was in my price range. Knowing what I know now, I would have definitely bought a lab-grown diamond, because at that stage, just out of college, it would have fit my budget a little bit better. That being said, lab-grown diamonds still aren't cheap.
For sure.
Put it like this, compared to a mine diamond, they're more affordable, but they're still not cheap. I mean, you can get lab-grown diamonds that are a couple of $100,000 as well. So, you know, it just allows you to, at the end of the day, maybe buy something that's a little bit bigger or a bit better color or clarity versus maybe a natural diamond. But if you or your significant other is set on getting a natural diamond, you can still make it work. Like we can see what's available. You don't have to go for the highest end color and clarity to get a beautiful stone. And we're busy making a ring now with a natural diamond, which was mined. and it's a 2-carat diamond, and it's very nice, somewhere in the middle color and clarity, and you'd be surprised at how stunning that diamond is.
Yeah.
Absolutely stunning. But you could take that same size, something that's a little bit better color and clarity, and it would have increased the price by a couple of $100,000.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see where this is going, right? But that is what I would say the main differences are between lab and natural. At the end of the day, it's totally up to you. I see jewelry, diamonds, gold, platinum, etc., as a massive investment. I don't see it as you're spending money. I see it as you're investing.
Yeah.
These things tend to retain value a lot better than other commodities out there. So buying gold, buying diamonds, etc., never a bad idea. No one knows what the future is going to hold, obviously, and it's like stock prices and things always tend to go up and down. But I do think it's a safer bet than buying some other commodity out there. Yeah.
Is every mined diamond a blood diamond in the sense of what it's been represented as through the movie and whatever else?
Definitely not.
Okay.
So there's a lot of jewelry and responsibility jewelry councils and mining councils out there to ensure that it is not. So that is also where things like certification comes in. You can buy non-certified stones and you don't really know where it's coming from and if it was backed by the proper committees and councils out there. But if you buy a certified stone, you can be more than confident that this adheres to international regulations and things like that to ensure that it doesn't. There definitely is still blood diamonds out there, and there's a lot of people going around selling rough diamonds illegally. The black market is massive. You'd be surprised to know how many people actually deal in rough diamonds, and those I have no idea where they're coming from, and most likely aren't sourced ethically and are probably stolen from mines, things like that. But for us, we really want to always err on the side of safety. We only sell certified stones that were responsibly mined and proven to be responsibly mined.
Okay.
So that you're covered in the long run, and that we also have a reputation to uphold.
I dig that. Okay, I had to ask the question because every time we talk about diamonds, I just see Leo in my head.
Yeah. What a movie!
Every single time I just see him and I hear his South African accent, and I'm like, I wonder if that's like legit the actual, But sick, man. Thank you so much for your knowledge on all of this. Please don't forget, go enter into the competition. We'll put into the description below how to enter, what the T's and C's are, and for how long this competition will still be running. We might extend it.
Yeah, we might extend it.
For a week or two.
And one last thing just to say, been getting a lot of people messaging me that they want to get engaged, but they don't want to make it so public on the social media. They don't want to share it to their story because then a lot of their family and significant other will know. So we're going to be sharing in the T's and C's a way that you can still enter the competition by keeping it on the down low. And that way you can still secure a spot in the competition and, all is well with the world.
It's an incredible thing that you and your company are doing. You're literally making someone's moment happen.
Love it. It's such a special thing to be a part of it. It's honestly, it gives me so much joy. And as you can see, I love people. So regardless of whether you are planning to get engaged now or if you're thinking about any other jewelry piece, reach out to us. We would love to just have a conversation with you. We love building relationship. We love community. And, we as long as people are around, we want to engage with your audience. So reach out to us, say what's up, and let's make some amazing pieces happen.
Yes. Let's do it. Thank you, Bugger. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time, man. Lucky to have you on here, dude. Well done. That was fun. I like learning about diamonds. Now I just need a couple.